Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today I'm going to review this ZemiSmart Zigbee Downlight. And ZemiSmart seems to be like a stable supplier of review products for this channel. And actually I got another product from them as well. It's a 2-channel energy meter, also Zigbee one, so that's probably coming next. But today let's tackle this one. You can see the unit here, but let me just go through the box. It actually comes in a few different variants. You can see it here, and I'm going to show you in the documentation as well. But where is my focus? It's all over the place. Okay, let's try again. So the difference between these models is that all of them are 12 volts and Zigbee, but they have a different beam angle. So 24 degrees, 36 and 60 degrees. And I have the version with a 24 degrees. And as you can see, the same thing is available in Matter and Zigbee as well, but I'm going to use the Zigbee version. And you can see from the color temperature that this is a light where you can control obviously the brightness and the color temperature as well. So you can make it from warm white to cool white all the way. And because this is a Zigbee light, I was able to test it in various different ecosystems. So primarily it is marketed for Tuya. So first I'm going to test it in Tuya, but I have my NS Panel Pro here. I also have my iHost, and I also have my Zigbee to MQTT. And I have to say that it works in every single system. Although I do find some nice additional sort of like not automation but scene features in the Tuya application, so probably it's best using Tuya. But to be honest, some of these functions can be done with scenes and some automations in all of the systems anyway, so it's not really restricted to Tuya. Before I start the testing, let's look at the device. As you can see, it comes in 2 different units. So you have the actual downlight, and then you have the controller and the power brick as well. So this is oh, I wanted to say it's multi-voltage, but no, this is 110 to 240 volts, and it is rated for 12 watts, and that's, I think, the rated power output, but in my measurement, I used a simple energy meter, and it was showing from 0.3 watts, which was the idle current draw, all the way to 15 watts, which was maximum brightness. And you can see that some of the values here as well. One interesting feature about this unit is, obviously this is like a ceiling downlight. So you use it in a drop ceiling, you cut the hole for this, and then you push this thing through, and that's going to be, above the drywall. So it is a fairly tall unit, so you need to have at least that much depth in order to install it. And of course you need some space for this, large driver as well. But then this top part actually rotates. So you can angle this beam that much. So you can angle the beam instead of going perpendicular or vertical, you can angle it that much. And actually there is some scale here. So you can see it shows, from 0 to 30 degrees. The only thing which I haven't really figured out, and when I asked, I didn't really get an answer to that, is like, how you would technically do this, because it moves fairly easily. And of course, when you want to install it and you push it through, and you have to work with the wires and everything, so that's going to move around. But of course, once you push it in, then you don't have physically access to this top part in order to move it, and this whole thing rotates. So I guess the only option is that you push this in and then you try to adjust it, which you can. Maybe that's the reason why it moves so easily. And the whole thing looks really, good quality. There is a, shiny black piece, like a reflector or something. You can see that the LED and the diffuser looks really nice and, well made. I mean, this part feels plastic, but then everything here is like, cold metal. So this part and this whole, bottom part or top part is metal. So it looks like a very decent construction. And when I show you how it works, I mean, the light output is really nice. It definitely doesn't appear flickery. I don't have a device to test it. I usually have this, method to test if it's flickery, but it doesn't appear to, do any worse than, well, it definitely performs better than some of my other LED lights. So I think it's a decent quality, and it's on promotion on the ZemiSmart website. So it is sold for $39 at the moment, $39.62 at the moment. So it's probably not the cheapest model on the market, but it's a decent quality, and the 12-watt output is again a decent output. And by the way, when you get this, the lamp and the controller. It's already pre-wired, and then it also, on the AC side, it also comes with a piece of wire. So I just use this connector to hook it up into mains, and that's how I plugged it in. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I think it's a really good product if you want to spend the money on quality lights, and especially if you install it in a way that you want to control the light so it doesn't shoot down perpendicular, then this is a great option. To be honest, I haven't seen this feature anywhere else yet. So yeah, I'm really happy. So let's do the review and see how it performs in the various ecosystems. So I set up this downlight with the ZemiSmart M6 Zigbee hub, which I also received recently, and I've already done the configuration. So you will see somewhere here, that's my ZemiSmart M6 hub, and the new light that was created with this Zigbee 3.0 CCT. That was the default name, which I haven't changed. And if I look at this device on the main screen, you can see that I have a big on-off button, and I already also have some controls where I can see the the brightness and the color temperature and some other details. And if I go into the main details screen, you can see that I have like a small animation, well, not like a small indication of this light. And if I turn it on, and on this main screen, I basically have two different sliders. So with one, I can control the brightness, and then it just brings down the brightness. And actually, when I am on the lowest brightness, so 1%, it draws 2 watts. And if it's completely off, it draws 0.3 watts. And if I have turned all the way to 100%, then the power consumption, I'm looking at a power meter, so the power consumption peaks at 15.6 watts. So obviously I can control the brightness anywhere in between. I mean, the lowest brightness, which is 2 watts, that's also like a fairly decent light. So it's not exactly like night light, sort of like very low brightness. And you can see how the color temperature changes as well as I change this wheel. So I can go all the way to the warmest the warmest light to all the way to the coolest light, which is this. So obviously, well, this camera is doing auto brightness and auto white balance. But I think you can see the changes in the color temperature, especially on this white surface, as it changes. And I have to say, it's a very, 12 watts is a decent amount of light. So it definitely gets bright and at full brightness. So it's it's a decent amount of light which is coming out of this device. And again, if I haven't mentioned in the beginning, so I got the variant which has the narrowest beam, so the 24 degrees, and probably you can sort of like make it out on this on the shot how the what is the width of this beam. For some reason it is responding very slowly to me. When I was testing it at like about an hour ago, I had no issues whatsoever. I don't really know what's happened because the change was instant. Now you can see that as I'm making these changes, sometimes it takes a considerable amount of time to make this. But this is definitely not an issue with the lights, maybe something with my Zigbee network or my Wi-Fi network in general. Let me go through some of the other features because actually we had quite a few. So we have the usual timer. So if you want the light to turn off after like half an hour, you can do that. But under more, we have a lot more like scenes and light related features. So in the plan, you can add random timing. So within 2 time frames, you can have this light turn on and off randomly. So that's nice. You can even customize what sort of light it should produce when it's doing the random light. You can also do the cycle, which again, probably not most useful for a light. And finally, you also have a sleep mode and a wake up mode, which, I mean, the two are the opposite of each other. So with this setup that you can see on the screen, it starts this sleep mode at 11 p.m. and it's going to run for 30 minutes. So it would gradually reduce the brightness in that half an hour period, and it will be completely off at 11:30. And again, you can customize whether you want this, whether you want to start it with the color temperature and a particular brightness. So there's a lot of customizability here, and the same with the wake up lamp. So that does the exact opposite, just the other way around. So it starts, fades in, and increases the brightness. But then we have, so that was all the different plans. But if we come out of the plan, under more, you still have schedules. So these are your normal schedules. I think this is the basic offering of what each Tuya device gets. But then I have one more, this rhythms, which is more like a schedules. But then you can just have one screen that you set, for example, 3 different or 4 different periods within the day when the brightness, the color temperature changes to a set value. And you can add, more stuff here. And you also have some gradient modes, but basically just like, it changes the color temperature and the brightness throughout the day within this set, in those set times. So that's actually nice. I like the fact that you do it in a single screen. I think it's much easier to manage than having to seeing that in a list. So I do like this interface. That's nice. And I think finally we have a power on behavior, which is pretty standard. So you can set it to initial, last state, and a customized color, where you can also set the particular brightness and color temperature that you want the light to automatically come on when the power comes back on. So it's a decent set of features, all the usual stuff that you would expect from a Zigbee light, and yeah, it's quite nice. Okay, so let's move on to another ecosystem. What you can see here is an NS Panel Pro. So I tried linking this LED light to the NS Panel Pro, and actually it was working. I think I've tested different lights in the past, and the NS Panel Pro did not accept it, but maybe it's it's a new firmware and now it does, so it doesn't have to be a Sonoff Zigbee lamp in order to be controlled from Sonoff. So it is working at the moment. Yep, and you can see it just got a very generic name of light, but I can turn it off. You can see that the light is off. At least you can see the reflection in the NS Panel Pro, and I can also control it. So if I want a warmer light, then I can do that. Well, and if I do colder, yeah, you can see in the reflection that it gets colder. Let me just do warmer again. So it gets warmer. Yeah, I can definitely see that it gets warmer. And of course I can control the brightness as well. Yeah, now it's much more visible how the color temperature changes. And actually, having said that, having said that, I think the color temperature was definitely warmer in the when I was using the Tuya. So that's actually very strange. Let me test it again. I mean, I don't have any device to confirm, to test color temperature, but it was really, really yellow in the Tuya app. But here it just like, I mean, it's like a normal incandescent light. So it's not that particularly yellow. Yeah, I'm not really sure why is the difference, but there is definitely a difference. And then I can control it. I can add schedules, and I can also add timers. And in the eWelink application, you don't have all those, fancy features of waking up stuff. But then, you know, everything else works, and you can group them together if you have multiple of these lights. And yeah, it just works nice. And of course, now the scene also supports not just turning on and off, but setting a particular brightness and color temperature as well. So if I create like a manual automation, then smart device, the light, you can see that I can control whether this light should be on and off, and then I can control the brightness and the color temperature as well. So yeah, all the features are here. It's nice. It's supported in eWelink, and well, particularly the NS Panel Pro. I mean, there are other Zigbee hubs in the Sonoff ecosystem or the eWelink ecosystem. I would assume that if it works for one, then it most probably works for others as well. But if you're unsure, then use it with the NS Panel Pro. So the next candidate, as you can see, is going to be the Sonoff iHost. And I've already done the pairing, and this device is recognized, and as you can see, I can control it. So I still have access to brightness controls. So the brightness is now down. If I increase it, I can also bring the color temperature. So again, you know, that's funny because this is much warmer than the color temp, the warmest color temperature I was able to set on the NS Panel Pro. So it's weird how these things work and how they are, you know, behaving differently. Yep, but it works with the iHost. And let me just change screens so you can see what I'm seeing. So I haven't, oh, sorry, wrong screen. So I haven't renamed the device. So this was the default name as it was added. So just like, yeah, TZ320, whatever, sorry, 3210. And I have the main controls. So I have brightness control. I have control of the temperature. I have the main on-off button, and I can also create schedules. So I can add the schedules. Oops. I can also, you know, set a delay. So it's the same stuff that we had in the eWelink application, and now I also have this loop timer. So yeah, standard features that we see with all the different lights. I mean, of course, this is just some default picture that you can change to something else. And yeah, there is not much in the settings besides, you know, assigning to location and deleting the device. So yeah, it's all supported. It has all the main features. Again, if I go into the scenes and if I try to add a new scene, I am pretty sure that I can control all the main features of this light. So yeah, same stuff. So switching it, changing the brightness and the color temperature. So same features that we have seen in the eWelink application. So I would say, you know, full support. It works without any issues. So yeah, great stuff. And the final test is going to be Zigbee to MQTT. I just did it from the iHost. The light started pulsing, so it has just gone back to, you know, discovery mode. And I think we just have to wait for a few more seconds. Oh, I can already see that. And it's recognized. By the way, just previously on the iHost, you can see the R symbol. So it is working as a router, which is good. And here, you know, it's already recognized. So it is recognized as the Tuya TS0502B. So probably just a standard color profile. Sorry, like color temperature profile. Yep, it's a router here as well. It's all supported. I didn't expect a lot. So we can control the state. So it's not turning off. And now it's coming back online. It's interesting how the, you know, the fade, let me just change views so you can see. So I'm turning this off now. So here the, you know, the fade is much longer than when I was using it in like the Tuya app. So I'm not really sure how you can control that, but I can control the brightness as well, and I can control the color temperature. I'm going to show you how it shows, how it looks like in the app. So yeah, so that was the state, and then the brightness I was able to control, and the color temperature. It looks like we have some presets as well. And let me just start the MQTT Explorer in the background. So probably we could see, you know, once I start moving this around. So I can change the color temperature. Yeah, color temp. So it's basically just a value. I wonder if I do like natural. yeah, it just does a preset, and then the brightness is here, so that's the brightness. So color hue none, I guess that's because it's missing from the profile. And we also have an effect. So that's interesting because I haven't seen this effect. So this, yeah, and it is working. So, oops, I wasn't trying to do this. So maybe I can do this. So when I selected this effect, so if I do blink, it does a single blink. Now I select breathe. It was similar, probably a little bit slower. Okay, I think it like goes to 100% and back. And to be honest, I don't really see a difference between these. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this any of the other applications, but I think you can just send it a signal, and the good thing about these effects that they return back to the original brightness. So yeah, I mean, maybe for the notification, like you can just blink it and you know, send in a blink signal, and then you can just forget about it. Let's just see the how the data looks like. So if I select breed, I don't really see that in the messages. Bright, full, color mode, color temp, quality. Where is the breeding? How does it send the breeding information? I don't see that. I don't see that in the MQTT messages. So that's weird. They should be translated to MQTT, I guess. Yeah, and do not disturb mode. I have no idea what it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, but again, main features are here: state, brightness, color, temperature. You can control them, you know, with obviously with this UI and with MQTT messages as well. I mean, you can go into the documentation just to understand how you do this, but usually you get a set topic for each of these. So you see that you have a /set subtopic, and then you can just send, you know, state on, or you can combine it with, you know, brightness or the color temperature value as well. So if you only change the state, then it obviously changes state. If you also send brightness, it will, let's say, turn it on to a particular brightness, or you can just send brightness again, and you send all these to the set topic, so /set. And it looks like in the color temperature, you can set these, besides the numeric values, you can do these values as well: coolest, cool, natural, warm, and warmest, which again just presets to a specific thing, yeah, specific value. And yeah, there is some mention of the transitions as well. So you can do transitions and 1, 2, 3. We'll probably have to test this. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be something that you would use a lot, but yeah, you can have it. And then it looks like that even when you are changing the values, there is like a default transition. So there is like a quick change between either brightness or core temperature. So it's not like an immediate, like sort of blink. So without using the transitions, I think there is a default transition built in, which I do like, and that's you know, visible even if you are using the on-off function. So if I go back to the device exposes, and if I change the screen again, so if I do off, you see it's a nice transition. On, if I change to the warmest, you know, it's like a second or 1.5 seconds, something like that. But it's nice. It's really good. I like it. So yeah, great support for Zigbee to MQTT as well. So this pretty much concludes my review of this ZemiSmart Zigbee Downlight. If you are interested in this product, there are going to be purchasing links in the video description. If I also get some discount code, that's going to be listed in the description as well. So make sure that you use those. But I think that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next one.